Thank you and good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. We had a doubleheader last night in Monday Night Football. Today is Tuesday, September 19th. Beat the Panthers. We had a field goal in the first half for both teams. In the first half, we had field goals to split the teams. Back-to-back punts, 13-6 on a touchdown. The Panthers get the ball back and get a field goal to put them within 4. Touchdown. Saints got another touchdown, and the Panthers countered with another touchdown late. And then the Panthers brought it back down for another touchdown onside kick that was recovered by the Saints that run in the game. For David Carr, he had 228. Taysom Hill, the best specialist player that's a backup quarterback, 9 carries for 75 yards. Chris Oliver had some important yards and some important catches. 86 yards for the Saints. For the Panthers, Bryce Young, drafted out of Alabama. The first pick in the 2023 draft. In just his second game, Young had 153 and 1 touchdown. Saints are 2-0. Panthers are 0-2. The other Monday night game was the Steelers versus the Browns. The Steelers hosted the Browns. Deshaun Watson had 235 yards and 1 touchdown. And the Steelers missed some opportunity, and so did the Browns. It was an ugly game. Well, the Browns had Jerome Ford for over 100 rushing yards. Well, that's good, right? Well, not when Nick Chubb went off the field, and he was carted off the field for a knee injury. And according to NBC, he is out for the season. The bigger decider was Another big decider was a fumble from Deshaun Watson, sack. TJ Watt took it back for the Steelers to win 26-22. Get Up talks about ways that Deshaun Watson can improve.
Nick Chubb suffers what appears to be a very, very serious injury, Ocho. Now, remember in 2015 when he was in college, he tore his MCL, his PCL, his LCL, and cartilage damage in the same knee that was injured tonight. Now, I'm not Dr. Andrews or Dr. Neil Elatrosh, but from my eye, from my vantage point, Ocho, it looks like a very serious injury, and I would be shocked if he played this year. And I think the thing is that when you look at it, Ocho, most guys, safeties, DBs, realize they can't tackle Nick Chubb in his chest. We've seen him on social media squatting well over 600 pounds, maybe close to 700 pounds.
Almost 700, 675.
So they know in order to get him down, you got to chop him. It kind of reminds me of the injury. You remember Willis McGahee in the Fiesta Bowl?
Yes.
He got kind of
Ohio
tackled.
State.
Yes, he kind of got tackled very similar and suffered. I mean, but it didn't look good. Do you feel they need to go out, get Kareem Hunt? I don't know some of the other free agent running backs. He's familiar with their system. He played, had some success there. Is it something that they need to add, or do they feel comfortable moving forward?
I mean, it's okay to you want to be able to move forward, but obviously you want to bring in Kareem Hunt, who is also familiar with the system. You know, they were the 1-2 punch when Chubb was healthy, not very long ago. I mean, it would only be smart. It would only be smart. You know, I'm not saying he's the same type of running back, but he's someone who can give you quality reps at the position and has been successful as well. He's not as successful as Chubb, but there was a time where Kareem Hunt was that boy.
Yeah, but
he was that boy.
He's more of a multi-purpose back. He could run. We saw him rush for over 1,500, but he's also good at catching the ball out of the backfield, making people miss, getting the ball down the field.
Michigan State fires head coach Mike Eel, Sean Lewis are leaders who take over from Mel Tucker at Michigan State. Jonathan Smith is an Oregon State's coach. Mike Eel is Duke's coach. Brian Hartline is Ohio State's offensive coordinator. And Sean Lewis, offensive coordinator for Colorado. And Jim Larineda, Illinois' head coach. And Mike Tressel, Wisconsin's defensive coordinator from 2007 to 2020. Codwell, Brian, New England Pass Offensive Coordinator, Mark Antonio, Michigan State's Assistant Head Coach, Harold Bennett, Michigan State's Acting Head Coach. All play coaches that are able to take over when the search begins and is over with. Sean McVay says the general manager Les Snead have been talking about trading Kam Ackers. Well, you better hope you get rid of him now, or he's going to be a frustrated player. That's saying Von Smack. They rely on Karen Williams. The Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes have restructured his agreement, giving him $210.6 million between 2023 and 2026. NFL's most money in NFL history over 4 seasons. For those guaranteed years, Chiefs will remake this contract likely in 2026. Now I want to hear from a critic, Stephen A. Smith, on the Chiefs. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. So you think it's just a business of football?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting up there. He's in his late 20s. This is probably his last opportunity to get a real big contract.
But he didn't get one.
Well, that's what I'm just talking about how you saw it.
But he didn't get one. His agent's sincere, right? Obviously.
I'm just saying this a business. I'm just saying the business. I mean,
it's a business, but your agents didn't do a good job of discussing the contract, so they probably should ask brothers.
I think they played hardball. I mean, I think the Chiefs played a little hardball because at the end of the day, like I said, you can only pay so many people, and your priorities are obviously Mahomes and Kelsey, and then everybody else. So
technically, it's a 4-year deal. It's a option with an option and an option.
I thought it was a 1-year deal.
Well, they restructured it on Wednesday, or it was already signed, but they hadn't released the details yet of it. It's basically like an option of, like, if we want to cut them, we don't get very much money of our salary cap isn't as big as it was if we want to cut them.
Okay.
So, like, you can cut them and still, I'll try to get you details. Hold on.
So because when they announced it, they just said it was a 1-year deal.
It's hard to understand. I looked it up yesterday, explaining Chris Jones' contract. Jones enters final season with initially the Chiefs supposed to collect 19.5 base salary, but if Jones were here, I'll just screen share it with you. And so 2024 would include an incentives option bonus, according to Matt Derrick of Chief Digest. And then the Chiefs would have another option of $1.37 million, would only be taken off their cap if they cut them.
So it is a 1-year deal.
Modified with some options. Yeah. Like, they have the option to pay him if they want to pay him. If they don't want to pay him, then they don't pay him. Pretty much. So do you think that's a better deal, or do you? I mean, it's basically.
I don't know. I would call it better.
Yeah.
I think he pretty much can get the 28 million or close to it this year if he hits those incentives. But
yeah, but he's got to be the defensive player of the year.
That's what I said. If
yeah.
And I don't think he's going to get defensive player of the year.
And we have to win the Super Bowl, and I don't know if that's going to happen. I think it might, but
I don't think it's this year.
Why not? They're just good.
I don't think this is a question of the Chiefs not being just as good. I think the rest of the conference is going to prove to be stronger as the season goes on.